All right, so chapter 3 starts off with our supply and demand model that we're going to be using throughout the whole rest of this class. So the long and short of it is, if you are stuck and confused after chapter 3, you need to come to me to office hours or come get some extra help, because the rest of the class is not going to make sense. You're going to continue to use this demand and supply model. So let's just talk about demand. So demand is another way of saying the consumer side of a transaction. So the demand is the consumer side of a transaction. And again, because of the fact that economics only deals with things that cost money, we're not dealing with things that, like somebody would pay you to take away, like garbage or toxic waste or whatever, right? Like there's no negative prices, right? So only positive values when we're talking about the price of a particular good. And then again, no negative quantities. We're not talking about owing somebody a certain amount of goods. We're only talking about positive values, right? Positive values, that's what I'm trying to say here. In the x-axis, which is our quantity. So if we're talking about pizza slices and the price is $5 per slice of pizza, then maybe we sell, 40 slices of pizza. And then what we're going to see is what's called the law of demand. And we all know this from just how we logically react to price data as we're shopping in our day-to-day lives, right? And this is, again, where that self-interested, rational human assumption comes to bear, right? Comes to fruition. So the price is going to decline to 4. There's a sale on pizza. So now, instead of 40 slices, now we're selling 50 slices. And if we continue to lower the price to $2, now it's somewhere like 80. And then we connect these dots and we get a downward sloping demand curve. And that's actually one of the nice ways that we can remember what demand looks like, is that downward and demand both start with the same letter, right? D. So we have a downward sloping demand line here. And the law of demand says that as the price decreases, the quantity increases. The flip side of that is that as the price increases, the quantity decreases. So now we're only selling 20 slices of pizza because the price has increased to 70. And so we connect both the part that is where the upward price action is and the deleterious impact on quantity, right? The negative impact on quantity. And then we connect that to the part that has the lower price action and the accumulation impact, the accretive impact, rather, on your quantity, right? Quantity going from 40 to 50 slices. So we connect all that together, and we end up getting our downward sloping demand curve that's just a straight line through all of them. So the demand curve is a reflection of the way that consumers behave when the law of demand is enforced or is in action. As prices increase, consumers demand less, and as prices decrease, consumers demand more. When we're talking about demand curves, it's very easy for us to get confused between a change in demand and a change in the quantity demanded. So right now, we're going to start off by just labeling these as quantity demanded. These are all quantity demanded. So the quantity demanded at a price of 2 is 80. There's 80. That's the quantity demanded at 2. The quantity demanded when the price is 4 is 50, and the quantity demanded when the price is 7 is 20. So we would not say the demand when the price is 7 is 20. We would say the quantity demanded. So the quantity demanded is the number of units. The demand is actually all the different quantities at the different prices. So the demand curve speaks to multiple instances of how much pizza people are going to buy at different prices. The quantity demanded talks about a specific instance of at a price, how many slices will people eat. I'm glad this class is not right before lunch. I'm already getting slightly hungry with all this talk of pizza. But questions on what a demand curve is, defining a demand curve, movements along the demand curve, and then again, there's just that important distinction between demand. When we say just demand, we're talking about the demand curve. When we say quantity demanded, we're talking about the number of things the market is asking for at a particular price. All right. I can't think of any other ways to say this. I'm going to stop.